it says, your love. Can we get that?
Never gives, never runs out on me. Your love.
Thank you, God.
Your love.
You ought to be able to testify to that.
Your love.
Has he loved you through your stuff? Has he loved you through your issues?
Your love. Your love. Your love. Your love. Your love.
Come on, the rap, lift it up.
Your love.
Come on, lift that up, lift that up.
Your love. Your love.
How many about that love that Lord? How many of you know that he loves you?
Your love.
That he gave his whole life for you?
Your love. 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 Never gives up. Your love. Hey, your love never fails. Your love never wanes. Your love never drops. Your love it always stays. Your love never fails. Your love never wanes. Your love never drops. Your love it always stays. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me.
Come on, make some noise for Jesus. Come on, make some noise for Jesus. Make some noise for Jesus.
Thank you, Lord.
The reason why I love him so much, the reason why I love him so much is because he first loved me. Even the reason why I love him is because he first loved me. Even when I was a baby, they used to tell me, yes, Jesus loves me. Can anybody lift that up? Yes, Jesus. Through all of my stuff, he loves me. Through all of my trials, he loved me. When everybody rightfully turned their backs on me, he kept loving me. He looked beyond my faults and he still saw my needs. Why? Because he loved me. So the songwriter said with declaration, yes, Jesus loves me. If you didn't know for sure, the songwriter fixed it for you. He said, yes, Jesus loves me. Come on, love the Lord, just give God a praise in this place. Come on, I said if you love him, you ought to make a praise in this place. Come on. If you really love him, if you really love him. Matter of fact, if you haven't told him you love him this morning, you ought to just open up your mouth and say, I love you, Jesus. Come on, you woke up with breath in your body. You woke up and your mind could still function. You woke up and your body could still move. You woke up and everything was the way you left it last night. Some of us have been talking on the phone, we've been texting, we've been in conversation, but we haven't told him we love him. Come on, open up your mouth and just say, I love you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus. I might not be altogether right, but I love you, Jesus. I still mess up from time to time, but I love you, Jesus. In spite of myself, I love you, Jesus. Man, I was glad Amen. Is anybody glad to be in the land of the living? Is anybody glad to be in the land of the living? Well, I dare you to turn that upside down frown into a smile and just give God praise with your countenance. You ought to push your neighbor and say, you ought not be too mean. You're still in the land of the living. Lift up your head. You're still in the land of the living. It could have been worse. You're still in the land of the living. God blocked it. You're still in the land of the living. He kept you. You're still in the land of the living. He made a way for you. You're still in the land of the living. You ought to open up your mouth and just give God praise, and you're still in the land of the living. Listen, we're beginning a new sermon series this month on power. Amen. On power. When somebody said, I don't understand how we get to this power. Listen, you know, all this year we've been in go mode. Right? All this year we've been in go mode. But you know, in order to go, you need some power. Yeah. In order to love on folk, you need the love of God to power you. You can try to start up a car without an engine if you want. There is no power. You can try to go with no gasoline. There is no power. Somebody knows that wherever you go, no matter what kind of go mode you're in, you can't go without power. But let's be clear about it. You need the power of the Holy Ghost. Somebody shout, I need power. Come on, let's go to the word. Let's go to the word. Let's go to the word. Luke chapter 8. Luke chapter 8. The text says, and Jesus said, who touched me? When all denied it, Peter and those with him said, Master, the multitudes. There's a multitude of folk around you who are pressing up on every side of you, and you ask who touched me? But Jesus said, somebody touched me. He says, for I perceive power going out from me. For just a moment, I want to open up this sermon series with this subject. Where is my charger? Where is my charger? You ought to look at somebody and ask them. I'll let you borrow it, you can give it back. Where's my charger? That's a question I have to ask my children and my wife every day. Where is my charger? Come on, be seated, please. Be seated. In the words of Jamal Bryant, be seated, please. Be seated, please. Where is my charger? We are in what I call the age of technology. And whether we like to admit it or not, the necessity for technology has become very demanding. The truth of the matter is that many of us won't leave home without some kind of mobile device. Matter of fact, I like to think that I'm not as married to technology as many other folk. Yet in reality, I leave home every day with a MacBook in one hand, and I leave with my iPad in the other hand, not to mention my iPhone in my back pocket. You see, my MacBook affords me the luxury of having a desktop to carry with me. My iPad gives me the same luxury except in a more portable, convenient platform. Matter of fact, I'm preaching from my iPad right now. And you all know that we have our own specific personal reasons as to how and to why we utilize our cell phone. However, I've come to discover that whatever reasons or motives that you have for the use of your mobile devices, can I suggest to you that it doesn't mean a hill of beans if what you have doesn't have any power. It doesn't mean a hill of beans if whatever you have does not have any power. You ought to ask somebody, where is my charger? It doesn't matter, watch this, it doesn't matter how it's built. It doesn't matter what it's capable of doing. It doesn't matter what information
information is stored up on the inside of that device. Without power, it's ineffective. Without power, it just won't work right. Somebody shout, where's my charger? Say what you want to say, but it's not a good feeling when you on less than 10% at the wrong time and you can't do anything about it. It's not a good feeling when your phone is about to die and you don't have a charger nowhere in sight. Somebody said, where's my charger? So my wife and I were watching Kidnapped the other night. And not to spoil the movie for anybody, but there is a scene in the movie where she's on the phone with her lawyer, having conversations over the custody of her child. When she realized that the conversation behind would soon be cut off because her phone was about to lose its power. When the phone did die, that's when she turned around and realized that her child had just been taken. So here she is now on this high-speed pursuit, chasing the abductors of her baby, all without the use of a powered mobile device. Even as she gave chase, it wasn't long before the gas that helped power her vehicle began to run out. In other words, there will be some times in your life when you won't be able to accomplish what you set out to accomplish without power. I said there will be some times in your life when the stuff that you want to do, you won't be able to do because you don't have any power. You ought to ask somebody, where is my charge? Let's go to the text. So around the 43rd verse of chapter 8, the writer Luke introduces us to yet another woman who had this issue of blood. According to the text, she had been suffering with this apparent sickness for 12 years. It was said that during the tenure of her 12 years, she depleted all that she had on physicians who could not handle her case nor help her to get healed. As I was perusing through this passage in preparation for the preaching moment, there was a principle that began to pop out at me. This is not eisegesis. This is not me speaking to the text. This is exegesis. This is me extracting from the text. The text says that she had an issue of blood for 12 years. Somebody shout 12. She had an issue of blood for 12 years. The text says, watch this, that she spent all of her livelihood. The word livelihood suggests that this is her money or her finances that she has accrued, watch this, over time. Now, not only does the text tell us about this issue for 12 years and that she spent all of her money that she has amassed over time, but she also met not with just one physician, but with multiple physicians. Let's be practical. Somebody knows that you can't meet with multiple doctors in one day. You can't meet with multiple doctors in one day. Even if you wanted to get a second opinion, most of us would have to get a second opinion. We couldn't get a second opinion on the same day. Look at somebody and say, it takes time. It takes time. It takes time. And oftentimes we give the doctors time until such time that we've lost confidence in them. And that oftentimes we give the doctors time until such time that we've lost confidence in him. What am I trying to say? I said all that to say this. They that wait upon the Lord. Let's have church. They that wait upon the Lord. Wait a minute. Here's the problem. She didn't wait on the Lord. That's the issue. She didn't wait on the Lord. Watch this. Her issue had nothing to do with her blood. Can I suggest to you that the real issue was in her confidence? She didn't have a real issue of blood. The real issue was in her confidence. In this patrilineal Palestinian society, a woman didn't have a whole lot of value. Yet this woman wasn't just any old woman. According to the text, this woman had some money. Suffice it to say, because she had money, I believe that she also had confidence in who she was. You know, money gives you some arrogance. Because she had money, she had confidence in who she was. I believe that she also had confidence in what she had. And apparently, according to the text, she put her confidence in the best doctors that her money could afford her. Listen, you might not have an issue of blood, but many of us got the same issue. I've come to discover that we put way too much confidence in who we are. I've come to discover that we put way too much confidence in what we can accomplish. We put way too much confidence in how good we look. We put way too much confidence in our gift of gab. We put way too much confidence in the fact that we can grind and get our own money. We put way too much confidence in the fact that I got several degrees hanging on my wall. We put way too much confidence in the thing that you've done as test. We put way too much confidence in what my name is. We put way too much confidence in the resources that I might have. We put way too much confidence in the fact that I know the right somebody. We put way too much confidence. We don't have the same, listen, we don't have an issue of blood, but we got some of the same issues. I heard Tasha Cobb say, I have confidence. So much confidence, not in my ability to sing, not in my ability to, she said, I got confidence in the Lord. Is there anybody here who put their real confidence in the Lord? I need you to understand, baby, that you might look good right now, but there's going to come a point in time where ain't nobody studying how you look. There's going to come a point in time where ain't nobody studying how much money you get, how much education you've amassed. Listen, there comes a time in life, it doesn't matter what your bank account looks like. It's some stuff that your stuff can't get you out of. You need to put your trust in the Lord. Somebody said trust in the, I need you to put all of your trust. Lean not in your own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct. I need you to understand, baby, quit putting your confidence in your own ability. You need to put your trust in the Lord. She put our confidence in the wrong place. You know, last thing you want to do is give somebody who don't need it that much confidence. When an ugly person gets confidence, y'all know I'm telling the truth. You know when the ugly girl all of a sudden get a shape and she realizes it. You know how your babies act when they start developing, they get a little confidence. You know how when guys get a little older, we start smelling ourselves. The problem is we put confidence in the wrong place.
Yes, sir, you preach.
But there is one who will never leave you nor forsake you. There is one who cannot fail.
Yes.
She had her confidence in the wrong place. But can I encourage you today to put your confidence in the Lord? Listen, even those of us who come to church, sometimes we put too much confidence in the pastor. Let me talk to pastor about what's going on in my situation. I'm just as human as you. I'm not perfect. I don't have all the answers, but I do know one somebody. There was an old quartet song that says, I recommend Jesus. When I fail you, I need you to understand that I recommend you. I recommend a man who will never fail, who has never lost the case. The Bible says your love has never failed and will never give up on me. I need you to understand that when we come living in this one in heaven, I need you to understand that, listen, he never sleeps nor does he slumber. So baby, I dare you to put your stuff aside and just put all your trust in the Lord. I dare you to put your education to the background and put all your trust. I dare you to put your resume aside and put all your trust. Forget who you know, baby. Put all your. So the text says, now a woman having a flow of blood for 12 years, who spent all of her livelihood on physicians and could not be healed by any. Verse 44 says, she came from behind, touched the border of his garment. Look at the text. I need you to understand that this text is comprised of two verses. Verses 43 and verse 44. Yet these same two verses combine to make up just one sentence. Y'all went to school, we at least have a third grade education in here. These two verses make up one sentence. Well, why is that significant? It's significant hermeneutically. What do you mean? It helps us to interpret the text better. Verse 43 of the text, watch this. Luke is introducing us to this woman with the issue of blood. Therefore, he has given us, watch this, a description of her dilemma. Somebody say description. He has given us a description of her dilemma. But when you get to verse 44 of the text says, and she came from behind and touched the border of his garment. Listen, this lets us know, watch this, that's what we find the shift in the narrative.
Yes.
That's when we find the shift. And can I pause parenthetically to preach this principle? Listen, it doesn't matter how your story began. I need you to understand that God wants to shift your narrative. It doesn't matter how your story began. I need you to understand that God is working to shift your narrative. I dare you to think back about the person that you used to be. The songwriter says, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound," watch this, "that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost," but here is the shift in the narrative, "but now I'm found." Is there anybody here who's glad that God can shift your narrative? It doesn't matter how you started. It doesn't matter who you used to be. It doesn't matter what your issues were. God wants to shift your narrative. I thought they were going to shout right there. When I think back about who I used to be, when I think back about the stuff that I used to do, when I think back about how I used to think, when I think back about how dirty my heart, matter of fact, when I think back yesterday about the things that I did, listen, I'm so glad that, listen, yesterday don't catch up with me today because God worked to shift I should have been dead, but God shifted the narrative. I should be in jail, but God shifted the narrative. Y'all acting all stuck up like y'all ain't never been bad, like y'all ain't never made no mistake. Y'all acting like God ain't never worked some stuff out in your life. Whatever he worked out, that was his way of shifting your narrative. Because listen, your obituary should have read one way, but listen, are you... I went to school. It took me forever to get my undergrad degree. And all the while I was in school, I was just trying to pass the class. Yes. Long as I ain't failed the class, I was good. I was just trying to pass the class. Y'all ain't with me. I was just trying to pass the class. But watch this. When I finally finished undergrad, the day we were walking for when we was getting ready to graduation rehearsal, they called my name and said, "Listen, you need to stand in this group because you're not undergraduating. You're graduating with not honors, but high honors." I'm not trying to brag on me. I'm bragging about the fact that God will shift your narrative. It didn't matter how I started out. It didn't matter what I was really concerned about. I want you to understand that God won't let this. You talking about let me be great. God is trying to work it out for you to be great. The Bible says he will make your name great. I need you to understand that he will shift your narrative. The truth of the matter is, some of the gossip about you was true. Everybody wasn't lying. Everybody wasn't lying about who you used to be. Matter of fact, who you still are. But I need you to understand the way God, he saw the best in me. That was his way of shifting my narrative. When everybody else around me saw the worst in me, but God was shifting my narrative. If there anybody here knows that you don't have to live by your own truth because the truth of God is shifting your... So in verse 43 of the text, Luke is introducing us to this woman with this issue of blood, who spent all of her livelihood on physicians who and could not be healed by any one of them. This is rather a condensed description of her dilemma. But when you get to verse 44 of the text says, "And she came from behind." Ooh, that just preached right there. She came, listen, you might have started in the back, but you got the ability to come from behind. Everybody else might have been in front of you, but you got the ability to come from. Is there anybody here who knows I might have had a bad start, but baby, I'm coming. Watch your back because I'm coming. Somebody say shake and bake. Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. So Ricky Bobby, when he was racing, he would always have his partner who was in front of him. But his partner had this little method they were called shake and bake. And when they were called shake and bake, his partner would do something in his car to catapult Ricky Bobby from the back all the way to the front. I need you to understand that God is already in front of you, and he's ready to shake and bake your situation and catapult you. You might be in the back, but baby, I'm coming from. That wasn't even in my notes. Thank the Holy Ghost. So here it is. The text says, the woman came from behind and touched the border of his garment. That's where you find the shift in the narrative. Watch this. In verse 43, here it is. Verse 43 of the text, Luke documents for us a description of her dilemma. Catch this, but this is where it shifts. But in verse 44 of the text, the narrative shifts, watch this, from her description to her decision. You don't know when to shout. I don't know how you feel about it, but the best decision that I ever made is when I decided to make Jesus my choice. The best decision that I ever made is when I decided to make Jesus. I said the best decision that I ever made is when I decided to make Jesus my. Willie Neal says some folk would rather have houses and land, but I decided, let's have church, to make Jesus my choice. Some folk would rather have silver and gold, but I would rather have. Bible says, choose you this day whom you're going to serve. Listen, you can have fame and you can have fortune, but I choose Jesus. You can have fancy cars, but I choose Jesus. You can have a whole lot of money, but I choose Jesus. You can have all that fancy stuff, but I choose. Is there anybody here? You ought to touch your neighbor and say, it's time to make a choice. It's time. You've been playing with him far too long. You just been reaping the benefits, but you ain't been a member. It's time for you to make a decision. Isn't it funny how Joel Osteen's situation taught me something? So here it is when Houston flooded out. Watch this. Everybody and their mama was telling Joel what the church was supposed to do. But how many of them Negroes have tied to the church? How many of them are even faithful to church? How many of them come even twice in 1 month? We can always tell the church what they're supposed to do. In other words, we rather reap the benefits of God, but we don't really want to commit to God. I need you to understand that today is the day that you ought to make a commitment. Today is the day you ought to choose Jesus. Listen, quit waiting on him to make sure you straight. You ought to give God your life. The best decision. The best decision that I ever made was making Jesus, falling in love with Jesus. I said, falling in love with Jesus is the best thing I've ever done. Falling in love with him is the best thing. Giving him my hand is the best. Giving him my heart is the best. Giving my life unto him, being sold out is the best. This lady had tried everybody, but somewhere around the way she figured I'm finna try Jesus. She tried to make her money fix the situation, but her money failed her. She tried to put her trust in physicians, but the physicians failed her. But when she decided to try Jesus, if there were anybody here who said, I'm sick and tired of living the way I'm living, I found out that my good looks won't get me nowhere. I found out that my credibility is shot. I'm ready to try Jesus. Is there anybody here? I hear him in the spirit say, well, you can try me. Try me and see. Won't I open up a window of heaven and pour you out of this? Listen, he said, if you're ready to try me, watch how I cut up on you. If you're ready to try me, if you're ready to trust me, watch how I do it. Somebody said, keep your eyes on the Lord. So the text says, she spent all her livelihood on physicians and couldn't be healed by any of them. Luke lets us know, watch this, and I'm closing when I say this. Luke lets us know, come on, praise him, get ready. Luke lets us know that this was the same woman who came from behind and touched the border of his garment. Verse 46, watch this. Jesus said, somebody touch me.
Somebody.
Did anybody come here just to touch his heart? Oftentimes we come to church too much with our hands lifted up, expecting to receive something. But how many of you come with your hands lifted up, ready to give him something? How many of you came here today ready to just offer him your love and your heart and your praise and your worship? The psalmist talks about giving him the fruit of your lips. Is there anybody who came here today ready to give God a love offering? Bless him with your mouth. Bless him with your praise. Bless him with your living. Jesus says, somebody touch me. For I perceive power going out of me. I had to look up the definition of a charger. I wanted to be sure. It says that the charger, watch this, is an instrument that is used to pour out energy.
Yeah.
It's an instrument that's used to recharge something. Somebody knows that when he touched the hem, when she touched the hem of his garment, the text says, for I perceive power coming out of me. The text says, and immediately, somebody shout immediately. Immediately she was healed. Listen, when the super comes into contact with your natural.
Yes. Come on. Yes, sir.
When the super
Yes.
comes into contact with your natural, somebody shall fill me up, God.
Fill me up, God.
It just reminds me of another story that Luke told us. Luke told us over there in Acts chapter 2. He says, and then suddenly there was a sound. The mighty rushing wind.
Yeah.
And the power of the Lord came in the room and filled the whole room. Not only did the presence and the power of the Lord fill the whole room, but it filled everybody in the room.
Yeah.
Is there anybody here who came to get filled by the power of God?
Thank you, Lord.
Is there anybody who came with our hearts wide open,
Yes. Thank you, God.
ready to be poured into by the love of Jesus?
Yes, Lord.
With the stuff that's going on in our world and in our nation, in our own lives and in our community, we need the power of the Holy Ghost.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Lord.
We need power to make it from day to day. We need power to walk right.
Yeah.
We need power to talk right. We need the power of the Lord to live right. We need His power. I just came to encourage somebody today that that power is available. When He puts the super to your natural. I used to think Clark Kent was somebody because he could take off his glasses and become another man. But I come to realize that really Clark Kent is just like us. See, when he got on his glasses, he assumes one identity. But when he takes off the filters of his life, you ain't with me. When he takes off the filters of his life and he steps into his true identity, when his super becomes real, I need you to understand that your super is possible. When you take off the filters of your life, the stuff that you've been going through, the things that's been hurting you, the stuff that's been keeping you bound and discouraged, when you wipe away the filters of your existence and step into your supernatural, when His super matches your natural, I need you to understand that He will make a difference in your life.
Yes, He will. Yes. Thank you, Lord.
Come on, praise Him. That's all I came to tell you. Where's my charger?
Yeah.
Jesus says that when you hook up with me, all the power that you need is in my hand. When you connect with me, all the power that you need is in my hand. Somebody doesn't believe it. Just in case you need the Baptist report. One Friday night, when he went to that old rugged cross, it's documented that he had to deal with the crown of thorns that they placed on his brow. He had to endure the agony of nails in his hands and even in his feet. He had to deal with the separation of his father and submitted himself to the death on the tree. So the story goes that they placed him in that old borrowed tomb and where he stayed there Friday night. When he stayed there all day Saturday, but Sunday morning,